For a mere $15, this simple little gadget that we purchased on Amazon is capable of tracking you pretty much anywhere, and these little guys are absolutely everywhere in our daily lives. But why exactly would anyone want to do that? We've all been spending a lot more time at home recently, and we've all been spending a lot more time online. Now, there's nothing wrong with the internet, besides, I guess, a couple of little minor issues, but there's a lot of good when it comes to being online. You can share things with friends and family you might not be able to see right now. And of course, you could call your grandma over FaceTime. You should call your grandma. But beyond that, because we're spending so much time, we have so much of our digital lives invested online, it means that we have dozens and dozens of accounts spread all over the place with all kinds of personal information, which is literally just scattered to the internet winds, which is why Bitdefender wanted to sponsor this video. I've done quite a few videos on privacy over the years. Honestly, it's a thing that I think really is not being taken seriously enough by a lot of people. Now, sure, I could sit here and talk for 10 minutes about why I think passwords are dumb or why keeping your phone up to date is important, but ultimately this is about something which is much more important than that. As someone who really values my own privacy, I try to do what I can to keep my data safe and secure, but obviously it's difficult when it's spread in so many places. I mean, take something as simple as the phone that I use every day.
Yeah, or one that I just hand you, so take that and take this camera.
Okay.
Put that on your head and go about your day.
Okay, wait, what's the camera for again?
Mm-hmm.
That's not an answer. Okay, well, that was weird, but you know what? I feel like a drink. What am I feeling like right now? I feel like a Coke. Ah, that's the good stuff right there. Come with me. Let's go upstairs. Let's get some work done, shall we? What's up, Matt?
Hi.
How you doing? How's this coming? You do we have 1 million subscribers yet?
No.
More clickbait. So at this point, I would normally be working on like email or potentially browsing the web, looking obviously for work-related things, but instead I'm just gonna watch YouTube because, I mean, look, is doing work worth it? I would argue not.
They had some really old school stuff like 10 years ago, but this
Dave
is the
Tudor,
first
man.
time we've seen
What a great
17-inch
guy.
device from Dell.
All right, you know what?
Engineering
That's fine.
sample.
That's fine. I've done enough work for the day. Why don't I actually go over and see if there's some nefarious thing that Wes is up to. All right, so I'm done.
Yes.
Here's your phone back.
Oh, thank you.
What exactly is happening right now?
Well, let's take a peek and see if we can figure out what you were doing across the hall. Okay, so
Video footage.
yeah, well, so it looks like you were at your desk. At about 2:38. At 2:36, you were at the refrigerator, and then you were next to me at about 2:45, 2:46.
Okay, would you like to explain to the kind people out there how you're tracking me with your nefariousness?
So you can see that you're next to me simply by using a little one of these things.
Oh, is this a Bluetooth beacon?
It is. It's Bluetooth low energy. So really it's just a tiny circuit board with really just a watch battery, and it blasts out a very low energy Bluetooth signal saying, this is my name, here's a little bit of data, and that's really it. And then you can have an app on your phone that just reads that data, reads the signal level, and knows roughly where you are.
So the main purpose of using something like a little Bluetooth beacon would be, for example, if you go into a store, they can use this to track where you are and how long you spend. So for example, if you have the store app on your phone, you walk around, they can see, oh, you stood in front of the candy aisle for 7 minutes.
But the scary part is that's an app that I just downloaded for free, and these
Because you wanted to get the reward program or whatever the case is.
Yes, and these things are crazy cheap. So even if someone wanted to put these in their store and just have their app, just a mom and pop app or whatever, interact with it, it's pretty easy.
So it's easy to think that your data online is just that, your data online. But there are a lot of things in person that can very easily be tied. You go to that store's system gets hacked. Not only could they have your credit card and your email and whatnot, but they could have your physical location of like, hey, I spent 7 minutes in the candy aisle, and realistically we all know I didn't actually spend 7 minutes in the candy aisle. I would never do something like that. How dare?
10 if you
To be fair, there's certainly some real uses for Bluetooth beacons. I'm not trying to say that this is like some incredibly nefarious thing, but what it does give you a good sense of is how much of your data can be tied up, and if they suffer a data breach, all of that stuff can be out there, which might not be the end of the world, but it's a little taste of how creepy things can really be. I said taste again. I want the candy.
I just filtered out the main ones from the office that I want to see. These are all the devices that you walked by.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, there's about 50 here.
I think we have to censor that. Because the thing is, so because all Bluetooth devices, and there's like good reasons for these Bluetooth devices to be sending out signals, right? So if you have a Bluetooth speaker, you walk by it, the speaker goes, oh, hey, I recognize that. Let's pair, let's start sharing data.
Yeah.
But you could also use something like a beacon and easily be able to keep track of who is going where and whatnot just by tracking those signals moving from point to point. Someone needs to stop doing burnouts outside. If you think physical tracking is easy, the second that you touch your phone, you're being tracked by a wide range of apps and services. So stuff like Instagram might be nice to be able to give me personalized ads, and I certainly appreciate the ability for Google to know what time I might leave the office and what traffic is going to be on the way home. But the key difference here is that you should be in control of your privacy. You should be aware of when these sites and these services may have some kind of security breach or start leaking data, that you're actually on top of it. Some browsers like Microsoft Edge and Apple Safari do a good job of protecting your privacy when you're online. However, while they might have robust tracking protection for your web browser, many other services and specifically apps can actually be really big offenders here. A lot of apps take up a ton of data, eat up a lot of your personal information, and you might not necessarily even know about it unless, of course, you've read thoroughly the terms and conditions and agreed to the privacy policy. Now, in this kind of scenario, it's actually a little bit of a tricky situation because you might not even know that these apps have this information, and yet if they suffer something like a data breach, you'd be completely in the dark, which is where Bitdefender's digital identity protection comes in. Ultimately, it's pretty easy to create a fake profile of you, especially if there's any of your leaked information floating around, like email, profile photo, name, etc. So what Bitdefender aims to do is to search the internet and find any of these data breaches, first of all, to keep it from happening in the first place, and second of all, any dodgy profiles that look very similar to you. They might be promoting Bitcoin or some political campaign, or who knows why someone might be pretending to be you. And trust me, a few people over the years have pretended to be me. Now obviously I have to blur a lot of this footage, but the first time I tried digital identity protection, Bitdefender found a lot, including my phone numbers. They found places I used to live, email addresses which were attached to hacked accounts that had been breached in data breaches before, and even some of those which also had the passwords leaked as well. Now, there are many, many things you should do to keep yourself protected online, including potentially using stuff like a VPN. You should definitely consider using a password manager, but just having a single dashboard where you can see all of the data breaches, you have a constant scan looking throughout the internet to find anything which looks suspiciously like you, is a really, really nice thing to have. The nice thing is, Bitdefender will give you an alert anytime some of your personal information has been involved in a data breach and give you a very easy way to do something about it. So you might want to change your password. You probably should change your password. You may want to enable two-factor authentication, or you may need to do something like flag an account as spam or taken over, for example. It will also flag potential fake accounts, which again is something that I find pretty useful. Now, it certainly found a lot of my legitimate accounts. I flagged those as actually me and it's no problem. But for example, if someone is pretending to be you, it's really simple to report those accounts that you may not have even know existed. Bitdefender are of course sponsoring this video, but digital privacy has been something that I've been passionate about for a long time. Think about it like this. Of course, we all run antivirus on our computers. But while, yes, you want to keep your computer safe and secure, ultimately there is way more information likely all across the internet in various different accounts, things that you uploaded, compared to what's actually on your local computer. Now, yes, there are of course many things you can do to protect yourself, but ultimately at the end of the day, there's only so much that you can do. If there is an account that you rely on that gets hacked, or if there's an account that you didn't even know existed that has your information that gets leaked out onto the dark web, then something like digital identity protection from Bitdefender really does do a good job of giving you that sort of forethought in the way that you actually can even see some of the stuff that you might not even have known that existed. I know it's something different and I know it's something unique, but I really do feel like this is a tool that makes a lot of sense. And Bitdefender were kind enough to give me a special link for you guys to check it out at the link in the description. So honestly, if this is something that seems interesting to you, feel free to check it out and you can help support the channel. But if you can take anything away from this video, just pay attention to your privacy, right? It's not just something as simple as, oh, my email password got hacked, I need to reset it. There's a lot more of your information out there, and it really pays to spend just a little bit of time and a little bit of effort to make sure that you are going to be safe and secure for many, many internet years to come.